BikeMatters. Today we're riding the Ducati Hypermotard, the new one, the single cylinder, super quadro mono engine, 698, and I'm absolutely ecstatic. I love these bikes. Haven't really had a proper go on one. I've had a quick stint on one before, but today's a lovely day. We're riding a Ducati Hypermotard, so let's go, let's get into it.
So welcome on board with the 2024 Ducati Hypermotard 698 Mono.
The new Super Quadro Mono, the over square engine, is derived from the 1299 Panigale twin motor, and this liquid-cooled single-cylinder 659cc revs to 10,250 RPM and pumps out a chart-topping 77.5 brake horsepower at 9,750 RPM with plenty of torque on tap. There's also 63 Newton meters of torque, peaking at a tall 8,000 RPM. That means all of the peak power is right at the end of the rev limit, with plenty of fun to be had at lower revs too. It's seriously responsive to your inputs via the ride-by-wire throttle and the new hydraulic slipper clutch. With that 4-valved Desmo high revving engine, you also get the benefit of longing out each and every gear, with the motor responding to a twist from half to full throttle superbly well. I did find it gets a tad vibration heavy at the top end, despite having two balanced counter shafts in use, but you'd expect some vibes when you're deep into the revs on a single cylinder motor.
So we're setting off from the lovely Potski HQ. God, this feels responsive. Very agile. You feel the front wheel wants to lift when you give it a twist. I'm in sport mode apparently. It wants to rev, and I'm very much looking forward to this. Doesn't feel like it's going to run out of revs anytime soon. Oh yes! It feels effortless. Absolutely effortless. And it does feel like when you get to that peak torque figure, it just wants to go.
Price-wise, you have a couple of options with this new Mono Supremo. The standard model is £10,995, whilst the RVE edition that I'm riding here comes with a quick shifter and the lovely little graffiti paint job, and that's £11,895. Any rivals? Well, consider the obvious duo that are very similar, the KTM 690 SMC-R, and that's £10,399, as well as the Husqvarna 701 SM, and that's also £10,399. You could perhaps even consider the bigger Hypermotard with the L-Twin. That's priced at £12,795, though that does offer a slightly different prospect, so isn't quite a direct comparison in my eyes.
Oh, what a lovely bike. It's got twin balance shafts to keep it nice and smooth, and the gear ratios feel relatively smooth as well. Oh. Now you can get this as an A2 bike as well, so 77.5 brake horsepower can be restricted down to the A2 limit. So if you're really eyeing one of these up, you can get it restricted on your A2 license. It really feels like it wants to wheelie at any point if you twist on the throttle and want to make it wheelie, but because I'm a fully legal road reviewer, I can't be riding around on one wheel.
Wheelies and stoppies are a guarantee. If you tweak the suspension settings and the rider modes, so you've got sport, urban, standard modes, rain mode, And the traction control and wheelie control, the ABS control, you'll also be able to refine that mono precisely into what you need. So you can back this into your favourite B-road corner and come out on one wheel on the other end before you know it. Of course, if that B-road happens to be on a track, obviously. Spec-wise, you have fully adjustable suspension in the 45mm Marzocchi forks up front, and that works with the Sachs rear shock absorber. And you have a typical motard riding position here with wide handlebars, a tall 904mm seat, and a steel tube trellis frame with cast aluminium double-sided swing arm. You do also have the option for a low accessory seat if you do need that, and that goes down to 889mm or 849mm with that low seat and a low suspension kit. The braking power is phenomenal. You've got a huge 330mm disc up front developed by Brembo for this 698 mono in particular, and you've also got a Brembo M432 caliper with a radial master cylinder. At the rear is a 245mm disc with single piston, and you've got cornering ABS with 4 levels of assistance selected through the LCD dash. The lower setting that you apply, the more that you can really push the bike and get the rear wheel out.
So when you brake, the cable extends. It's not really one you notice when you're riding, but Brembo brakes are so sharp as well. It's exactly what you want. Even though it's single-sided disc, I don't think you really need sharper brakes than this. So, whilst we're in quieter territory, quick shout out goes to Lexham Insurance who power BikeMatters. If you're looking for a insurance quote on a motorcycle or scooter, you can go to lexhaminsurance.co.uk, get yourself a quote, or you can give them a call direct. It's up to you. Do what you want. But give them a go, and thanks for watching BikeMatters. Give us a little subscribe if you fancy more motorcycle content. It's going to start picking up this year now, so we're entering launch season.
Lastly, you have a 3.8-inch LCD display up top, which is clear, it does the job, it's quite minimal, but that's absolutely fine in my eyes. I'm not sure any rider is going to be desperately after a TFT display on this bike. And you've also got the Ducati multimedia system. If that doesn't appeal through the LCD like this for you, you can always mount your phone onto the bars if you're really needing to see your text and control your music whilst you're blasting around. Other standard equipment includes the power launch, up and down quick shifter on this RVE in particular, the traction control settings, the wheelie control, the engine brake control, and it's all included in the top-notch electronics package here. If you stick on the performance exhaust, you do also get the wheelie assist function, but that's for track only, say Ducati, basically just assists you doing a wheelie. Any negatives? Well, yes and no. It's quite a specialised bike, and it's firmly in the supermoto category, so you're not going to be considering this for an all-round tourer and commuter extraordinaire. I mean, yeah, it will do any touring miles, but the focus on the fun factor with this supermoto and the lack of the sort of touring screen elements and luggage potential and stuff like that does create the prospect of not completing a 200-mile tour with any real comfort. But who am I kidding? I wouldn't buy one of these in hopes of touring endlessly with a 12-litre tank and on top of a supermoto. I'd be heading off for the local twisties and the country roads and having a great time. Other negatives, I mean, there's no direct fuel gauge. It's extremely tall, it's got a 904mm seat, though it is narrow and it's very light, so it's not a huge concern. The service, of course, is every 9,000 miles, and it's got a Desmo valve clearance check at 18,000 miles, so it may well be very costly, but it's a Ducati, and there's no other engine that has this power and this poise, so you do pay for it. The more you push this Hypermotard mono and utilise the stellar electronics package and the motor, the more you get back from it. It really is just about pure fun. And to me, in a two-wheeled world where we have an ever-increasing restrictions and limits placed on us, seeing a bike that is created just for pure fun is just perfect for me. I just wish I had more time on it. Anyway, back to me riding and post-ride.
Just enjoying these open roads. You'd think a mono engine, so single cylinder, would kind of struggle. But the wizards at Ducati have just somehow made a motor that just feels sublime to work with. I love to see this on a track setting. Look at this view! I think we're going to stop here and do some photos, because this is the classic photo location. If you right, we're back on the road. It's a short stroke, but a massive fat piston. And it just eggs you on at every opportunity. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to want to slow down. It's very agile and light. You've got a tall seat height. And ultimately, it's just superb fun. This is where it comes alive on these back roads. We can feel the wind through your hair. Jump around on the bike. Oh, this is what Fridays are made of. Acceleration is just so good. Is it value for money? I'd say so, to be honest with you. I mean, all bikes are expensive nowadays. This one is £10,000. It's a brand new Ducati 2024 model. You wouldn't expect it to be a cheap bike. But what you get for your money is what matters, and I really, really think you'll struggle to find something that puts as much of a smile on your face as this Hypermotard. Single cylinder, tuned to perfection. The gears feel really energetic, and it's geared nicely. It's nice and lightweight, 155 odd kilograms. This thing's just eager. Look at it. It does get a little bit vibration heavy, even despite the two balance shafts, but it's nothing too bad. It is a single cylinder engine that revs up to 10,000 RPM, so I don't know what you expect there. Oh, these undulations in the road, just so enjoyable. And for me, as a rider that's out in the Norfolk and Suffolk area, we don't really have hills out there. We're blessed with flats everywhere. So coming out here to have this roller coaster ride of a route is just a blessing. It's giving me life, as Fred again says. The last bike I enjoyed riding this much was the Speedtwin 900, and I then bought a Speedtwin 1200. Am I going to buy a Hypermotard? I might do it. I might have to. It's just too fun.
So just finished our afternoon ride on this beautiful Ducati Hypermotard 698 Mono. It's the RVE edition, so it's got the graffiti-ish livery and a quick shifter. So all in, I find it very difficult to, especially in an afternoon, to say what's negative about this bike. Of course, it is a little bit vibey at the top end, but it's a single and it's got two balance shafts in there, but that's not really a negative, to be honest with you. The pros of this bike, of course, the handling, the style for me is bang on. And just what this bike is like on the road, on the back roads, it's just wicked. It's so much fun. So negatives, there's no fuel gauge that I can see. It's quite tall, so if you're a short rider, you might struggle a little bit. We don't do star reviews of BikeMatters. Maybe we should, because I think this would be a 5-star bike, in all honesty. I really struggled to say anything negative about it. Oh, just loved it. But subscribe to BikeMatters, stay tuned. Might have to get one of these on a bit of a longer term test, because I enjoyed it so much. But in any case, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.